Feeling that wind blow through a field of windrows, underneath that Oklahoma sky, counting those fence posts alongside that same dirt road. I get a different number every time. Well, I've sure seen a lot since then, but that's all I've ever known.
I grew up in a small town. It's called Seneca, Missouri. Of course, it's on the border of Missouri and Oklahoma. It's in the southwest corner of the state. Roughly, probably has about 1,300 people, and it does have one stoplight.
Just me and my bird dog, a cane pole and a farm pond. Yeah, never finished until we were done. Watching those storm clouds from Kansas roll down. The windmill told me when to walk or run. Well, I've sure learned a lot since then, but that's all I've ever known. Well, I know Mom and Dad are proud, said everyone in town's been asking about me.
I was 22 years old when I first moved to Nashville, and I was straight out of college. Wound up, I didn't do bad in college. I wound up getting a degree, but I did write more songs than I took notes. So I thought it might be a good idea to go venture out and write songs. Been in and out of some publishing deals. Right now, I'm currently writing for Clip Publishing Company out of Los Angeles, California.
So baby, I want you to know Texas is right where I wanna be, 'cause I'm getting you.
Last year we played the Houston Astrodome. Of course, that's in Houston, Texas, and we always have a great time when we play the livestock show there. Anytime you're in Texas, you're guaranteed a good time. Just down the road, across the border here, in Kansas, there's a club called Twisters, and it's the home of Pittsburgh State University. And all these college kids come out on Saturday nights, and it is absolutely mind-blowing. Some of the best crowd you could ever be in front of, and that's a lot of fun.
Is there left to do but ride on, rodeo cowboy, ride on. This ain't your first time on the ground. Yeah, ride on, rodeo cowboy, ride on. There's a buckle full of gold in another town. Well, Waylon and Willie, Johnny and Merle were the ones.
My early influences were my dad. He first taught me how to play guitar. And then anywhere from Merle Haggard, Willie Nelson, George Strait, Garth Brooks, Chris Ledoux, Dean Dillon, who's written a lot of songs for George Strait. Too, I like a lot of the Texas music coming up from like Jason Boland and Cross Canadian Ragweed and some of these guys. And so I listen to a little bit of everything, and somehow, even when I don't know it, I'm probably still influenced and inspired by all different types of music.
Yeah, they fought for the country.
Last year was a real good year. We had a couple of number ones. The first one was called Clean Living Down the Old Dirt Road, which is one of my favorites, and it pretty much describes the way I was brought up. The second one was called All I've Ever Known, which is also, both of those songs are really rootsy and rural routish. To this day, probably a couple of my favorite songs that I've ever written.
it's your first time on the ground, you ride on a rodeo cowboy, ride on. 'Cause there's a buckle full of gold in another town. Rodeo cowboy, yeah, you better ride on. You rodeo cowboy, yeah, you better ride on. Rodeo cowboy, you better ride on and on and on. Rodeo cowboy.